A dog owner wakes up, feeds their dog right away, and heads straight out for an energetic walk before the day begins. It looks like a perfectly responsible routine. Feed them, exercise them, start the day. But for certain dogs, especially large, deep-chested breeds, that exact sequence can trigger a true medical emergency within the hour. This is a scenario that plays out more often than most pet owners realize. A dog seems completely normal at breakfast. An hour later, they're pacing restlessly, trying and failing to vomit, their stomach visibly swollen and tight. What follows is a race to the emergency vet, and for some dogs, it's a race they don't win. It's the kind of thing that, when you first hear about it, seems almost impossible. How could something as ordinary as breakfast and a walk turn into an emergency? But once you understand what's actually happening inside the body, it makes complete sense, and it becomes something genuinely preventable. Stories like this are exactly why this video matters. Because the routines that put dogs at risk aren't reckless or careless, they're routines that look completely fine on the surface. The kind of thing any attentive, loving pet owner would do without a second thought. The kind of routine that's been repeated hundreds of times without incident, right up until the one morning it isn't. Before we go further, comment below, what's the very first thing you do with your dog after you both wake up? Feed them immediately? Head straight out for a walk? Let them tear around the yard? Be honest, because this only helps if you're honest with yourself about the actual routine in your house, not the one you wish you had. This channel exists to help build a community of pet parents who catch these things early instead of learning them the hard way. If you'd like to help us reach 10,000 subscribers together, consider subscribing. Every person who joins means another dog out there with an owner who knows what to watch for. If you have an older dog or a large or deep-chested breed, stay with us for this whole video, because there's a strong chance at least one of these 4 common morning routines applies to your household right now. Mistake 1. Feeding immediately, then heavy activity. The scenario at the start of this video is a real and well-documented risk pattern in veterinary medicine. When a dog eats a large meal and then moves vigorously right afterward, the stomach, already stretched and heavy with food, can twist on itself. This is called bloat, or GDV, gastric dilatation volvulus. Once that twist happens, gas and fluid get trapped with nowhere to go. The stomach balloons, sometimes dramatically. It cuts off blood supply to the stomach wall and puts crushing pressure on major blood vessels running through the abdomen. This is a true life-or-death emergency. Without immediate surgery, it is fatal, often within just a couple of hours of the twist occurring, which is part of what makes it so frightening. There is very little time to act once symptoms begin. Certain factors raise the risk further: eating quickly, drinking large amounts of water right after a meal, and any vigorous activity in the hour or two following a meal. Large and giant breeds with deep, narrow chests are disproportionately affected, which is why this is such a well-known concern among owners of shepherds, Great Danes, standard poodles, boxers, and similar breeds, though it can occur in other dogs too. The warning signs are consistent: restless pacing, an inability to get comfortable, repeated unproductive attempts to vomit, a visibly swollen and tight abdomen, drooling, and eventual collapse. Recognizing these signs early and getting to an emergency vet immediately, rather than waiting to see if it resolves on its own, is often the difference between survival and tragedy. The fix is straightforward. Feed a smaller portion first thing in the morning, avoid free access to large amounts of water immediately after eating, and allow at least an hour of quiet rest before any real exercise. This single change in timing matters enormously for large or deep-chested breeds. Comment below, does your dog eat and then go straight into a walk or play? No judgment at all, just something worth thinking honestly about. Mistake 2. Jumping off the bed or couch the instant they wake. This one seems small enough to overlook, but it shows up constantly in veterinary practice. A dog wakes up on furniture and immediately launches off, full force, onto a hard floor, often before they're even fully alert. For small and long-backed breeds, dachshunds, corgis, and similar builds, this repeated impact is a real contributor to disc injuries, commonly known as EVD, a condition that can range from mild pain to serious, sometimes permanent, mobility loss. For senior dogs or dogs with early arthritis, Cold and stiff joints absorbing that kind of sudden impact first thing in the morning can cause real pain and, over time, accelerate joint damage that might otherwise progress far more slowly. The fix costs nothing: a small step or ramp beside furniture, or simply lifting a small dog down rather than letting them leap. Giving any dog a moment to stretch before hopping down matters more than most people think, and it's a habit that takes seconds to build. Mistake 3. Straight into intense. Play with zero warm-up. Morning zoomies feel like a great way to start the day. Full sprinting, hard fetch, energetic play the second the leash comes off. It looks like enthusiasm, and often it is. But a dog's muscles and joints are stiff and cold straight out of sleep, just like ours are after hours lying still. Going from zero to maximum intensity in seconds is exactly how soft tissue injuries happen. Pulled muscles and strained tendons that don't show up as a limp until a day or two later, which makes them easy to miss as connected to that morning's activity at all. In brachycephalic breeds, bulldogs, pugs, boxers, and other flat-faced breeds, intense activity right out of sleep can also trigger dangerous overheating and breathing distress far faster than expected, especially combined with morning humidity, because their airway structure already makes efficient breathing more difficult even at rest. The fix? A slow 5-minute warm-up walk before anything intense. It's the same advice a physical therapist would give a person before a workout, and dogs need that gradual transition just as much, even though they can't tell us their joints feel stiff or their muscles haven't warmed up yet. Mistake 4. Skipping water, straight into a hot walk. Dogs lose fluid overnight, just like people do, through breathing and simply existing for 8 or more hours without a drink. Heading straight into a walk without water first, especially in warmer months, can compound heat stress quickly, particularly in older dogs whose bodies regulate temperature less efficiently, and in breeds already prone to overheating. Dehydration also thickens the blood somewhat and makes the cardiovascular system work harder than it needs to, right at the start of the day. The fix is simple: fresh water available and actually consumed before heading out the door, every single morning, regardless of how eager a dog is to get outside. It takes less than a minute and costs nothing. Building a safer morning routine. None of these fixes require special products or extra cost. Water available first thing. A smaller breakfast followed by a full hour of quiet rest before real activity. A gentle warm-up walk before anything more energetic. A step or ramp instead of a hard leap off furniture. Put together, this is a 5 to 10 minute adjustment to a routine most households already have, not a complete overhaul. It's worth being clear, not every dog following these routines will develop a problem, and this information isn't a replacement for guidance from a veterinarian familiar with a specific dog's health history, especially if that dog has an existing heart, joint, or digestive condition. If a dog ever shows restlessness, a swollen belly, repeated unproductive retching, or sudden collapse, that is an emergency. Get to a vet immediately rather than waiting to see if it passes on its own. Comment below, out of these 4 common mistakes, how many describe your dog's actual morning routine? Most people are surprised by their own number. If this video could help someone you know keep their dog safer, hit like so it actually reaches them, and if you'd like to help this community reach 10,000 subscribers together, consider subscribing. If you know someone with an older dog or a large, deep-chested breed, send them this video today. A few small changes to a morning routine is the cheapest insurance you'll ever give a dog. Give your dog a little extra rest tomorrow morning before the day gets going, and we'll see you in the next one.